Right. I want to start off by giving all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakak, Wadash. Want to give double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone for teaching us this truth. And I want to say shalom to the brothers and sisters that are in this truth. Shalom. All right, so we're back with another lesson. And this one's going to be titled Wicked, Profane, and Disgusting. All right? And we know that the wicked, when we speak on the wicked is Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. All right? And profane because he's outside the temple. This man is sexually immoral. He's disgusting in every way. Okay? And all his actions keep proving us right. Okay? What we've been saying. All right? Even though there's a lot of naysayers, they're still seduced by the ways of Esau, by his three-piece suit, okay, by his riches, all right, and his $1 million vocabulary, which means nothing to us, all right, and he's completely disgusting, right? So I'm going to get into this article that the brother had put up on the chat, of this man. Of course, when you look right here at the title, it says, Houston attorney arrested over alleged abuse of family dog captured on home security video. So we know what type of abuse this is talking about, okay? And we're going to get into it because even Job, all right, warned us about this. All right, so let's look at this real quick. And let's get right into it. Salakia, let me let me refresh this page. Should go right into it. Here we go. Bear with me.
Week Fox 26 Morning News Weekends with Denise Middleton and meteorologist Allison Gargaro. Saturdays and Sundays beginning at 5 a.m.
And we're back with a case that's trending online today and tonight. A Houston lawyer facing serious bestiality charges. And of course, he was arrested only a couple of months ago, but it is trending again. 56-year-old Stephen Swain was arrested after his wife looked at surveillance footage from last November. According to court documents, the new cameras caught him in a disturbing act with the family dog named Shipley. The alleged incident reportedly involved licking. Swain was released on bond in May. We're still taking your texts tonight. Send them to 713-581-9914. Joining us now in studio to talk about this, kinkologist Lady McAllen and attorney Emily Mitchell. So, Emily, obviously this story's trending again. You never know what will get people talking about it. But what's the latest in this case, and what are the specific allegations against him?
So the specific allegations in this particular case is bestiality. This Houston attorney is accused of doing some unseemly things with the family dog, and in the state of Texas, this is a felony. And depending on whether the dog was hurt or severely injured or not, it can be a more severe penalty. Currently, it's a state jail felony, and it carries a range of punishment from 180 days in jail to 2 years and a $10,000 fine. So he's in some deep doo-doo.
Some stuff.
And so for those who are wondering, though, this is not rare. This happens in this country and in other countries where people have sex with animals. And I'm not sure exactly what extent this attorney is accused of. All we heard was licking was involved and the criminal charge of bestiality was used. But we don't know what he exactly did. Or do you? You know, Emma?
I was tasked with the responsibility of reading through the court documents.
Unfortunately for you. I'm so sorry.
And so his allegations are that he orally engaged with the animal.
Okay, that's enough. That's enough.
That's enough. Okay.
So we ask you though.
You asked.
Lady McCalla, your thoughts about this? You're a kinkologist. Does this fit anywhere?
No. Okay. So this is
world?
a conversation that people have with us all the time. Most people don't understand BDSM or the kink community.
But are people asking?
Yes. So mostly
for direction hands on.
Okay, so I've had a lot of people ask me about bestiality and things like that, and it is, I think there's...
In what context? We want to know if there are people walking
Oh, yes,
around.
I have been asked. I have been asked by several men, and it's always men. I'm not trying to be mean, but there's a running joke in the kink community that no hole is safe around some men, okay? And statistically, by the law, it's true. Like, you can't leave anything around certain men, and they'll do whatever they want to do. But no, we get that question a lot in the kink community. Like, is bestiality part of it? They're talking about the LGBT community, and they're like, is pedophilia part of it? No.
All right, I think we've heard enough, man. This shit is... This is why this place gotta go. You know, this place is just completely disgusting. You know what I mean? And you know who's leading the charge? You saw Edom, the so-called white man, right? So you saw that, you know, this man's having oral sex with a dog. You know, seen that man's face, just a beast himself. Disgusting. You look at these people's eyes, man. All right? They're just murderous, bloodthirsty, unholy, just completely profane, wicked, disgusting. You know, just everything on the dark side, you know. But they want to put that stigma, you know, on the so-called black man, right? Or the so-called Hispanic, right? Or the so-called Native American, right? Calling them savages, right? And, you know, our people are wicked, but who they learn it from, you know? They learned it from the so-called white man, you know? And it's, man, these are the things that you when you look at society, how the hell can anybody still defend these people with the track record that, you know, the track record that they have, man, you know? And these are all examples. And like I always say, all right, this is just one man that got caught, but they're all like-minded. They're all the same. They're that nation. We're talking about the Edomites, okay? Because not every so-called white person that looks white is an Edomite, okay? But everybody that goes back to the forefather of Esau, all right, is like-minded, man. This is the way that the Lord programmed them, okay? And this is why they're going to receive that grievous judgment, all right? Because there's no fixing, right, or rewiring, right, this nation of people, okay? So when we go to the book of Hebrew, matter of fact, let's go to the book of Hebrew, chapter 12 and verse 16, and we're going to get it in the NIV, and it says, see that no one is sexually immoral. See that? See that no one is sexually immoral or is godless like Esau. You see that? So there is nobody on this planet Earth more sexually immoral or is godless like Esau, who for a single meal sold his inheritance, right, as the oldest son. Afterward, as you know, when he wanted to inherit this blessing, he was rejected. Even though he sought the blessing with tears, he could not change what he had done. Okay? So, the point was in verse 16 that there is nobody more sexually immoral, right, than the nation of people that call themselves the so-called white man, woman, and child. All right? And we say the so-called white man because they are red. All right? And this is the name they've put themselves to hide from their true biblical name, right? The Edomites. All right? And you see what this man has done. And there's many before him and there's many after him that are going to get caught. All right? Until his kingdom gets taken out. All right? As for right now, he's the poster child. He's the face of his people. And this is what they do. All right? They all have done this, still doing this, and will continue doing this until the Lord comes back, right, to take them out the way. All right? And let's see what Job had to say concerning this, right? When you go to the book of Job, chapter 30, we're going to start at the top. It says, but now they that are younger than I have me in derision. All right? And you would say, oh, how is Esau younger when he was the oldest son? Okay, well, the Israelites, Okay, the 144, the elect, they were already, them spirits were created already in the heavens. Okay, so Esau would technically be younger, right, than Job, who is an Israelite himself. It says, but now they that are younger than I have me in derision, whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flock. See that? Whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flock. All right. Now, when you go keep reading, right, it says, yeah, whereto might the strength of their hands profit me, in whom old age was perished. For want and famine they were solitary, fleeing into the wilderness, in former time desolate and waste, who cut up mallows by the bushes and juniper roots for their meat. They were driven forth from among men. They cried after them as after a thief. Okay, this is Esau Edom, man. You know, a complete description of who these people are. And it goes further to say, to dwell in the cliffs of the valleys, in caves, right? Caucasians, cave dwellers, in caves of the earth, and in the rocks. Among the bushes they brayed, right? To bray is like to scream like a donkey. All right, but these are the people that civilized us, right? Come on, man. This is why this is the devil, right? Esau, the devil, right? Nothing but lies. They go lying from the womb, as the scripture says. All right? It said, under the nettles, they were gathered together. They were children of fools. Yeah, children of base men. They were viler than the earth. You see that? They were viler than the earth. Okay, so this is something that cannot be changed, man. This is from the beginning. These people were like that. They were created, you know, with this characteristic. Okay, that's why the Lord said that this is the border of wickedness. This is the wicked, and you cannot change that. All right? You people want to sit here and say that when Yahushua came, yada, yada, yada. No, man, the Lord said I changed not. All right? I changed not. So, you cannot change what the Lord has created, right? And matter of fact, let's back that up. Let's go to the book of Ecclesiastes. Right? Let's go to the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7. Let's go to verse 13. And it says, consider the work of Yahweh, for who can make that straight which he has made crooked? Again, consider the work of Yahweh, for who can make that straight which he has made crooked? All right? And that's why you people that want to save Esau, you Christians, right? All you people that are like-minded are striving against the Lord, right? You guys are kicking against the pricks. You guys are fighting an uphill battle, right, on a slippery slope. You're not going to make it. You're not going to win. Okay, it's a kamikaze mission. Because the Lord said you cannot make straight what he made crooked. And this is what he did. He made Esau to be filthy, crooked, the wicked. All right, there's no cleansing them. No matter how much you try to justify them through the scriptures, all right, there is no change in this filthy animal. And he keeps showing you that, right, through his actions over and over. All right. So, now let's go to the book of Psalms, chapter 50 and verse 16. All right. Matter of fact, start at 16. It says, but unto the wicked, Yahweh says, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes? Okay. Or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth, right? Because the law, statutes, and commandments weren't given to you. All right. So why do you even have this book in your hands? Right? Them filthy paws of yours. All right. That swine's flesh that has been attached to your bones, man. That's why you look like swine. Okay. Just a dirty being. Seeing thou hatest instructions and castest my words behind thee. All right. And one of the laws is that a man should not sleep with another beast. All right, they should be put to death. That him and that beast have to be put down. All right. So imagine, you see the society that we live in. Okay, they say this is a God-fearing country. All right, but here it is. You catch the man straight up in the act of bestiality, right? The law says you gotta put him down and the beast. All right, but here it is. You're gonna probably give him the minimum, or probation, little fine, right? Because you condone that shit. Okay, you condone that shit. That's why, you people have been okey-doked, hoodwinked, all right, with the so-called white man, okay? And that's why you people are going to go down with him, okay? You're going to go down with him and this filthy society, man. And we're tired of seeing shit like this. This shit is uncalled for. This shit, Esau must be stopped, all right? And the evidence is mounted up so high, all right? This case should be closed. It is closed already, all right? Now we're just waiting for the judgment, man, the sentence, okay? The witnesses have been here testifying against this man, all right? His actions keep speaking against him, okay? And now we're just waiting for Yahweh Shai to come back and set things straight, okay? And take this filthy man out of power, all right? You look at these elites, okay? They're the same thing, all right? They got all these children going into these islands. You got the Epstein Islands. You got all these other things. And it goes deeper than that, okay? These people are wicked, profane, and disgusting. And there's nothing you could do, all right, to protect these people, okay? Because at the end of the day, if you're standing in the way, you're also going to catch a stray. And I ain't mean to rhyme there, but hey, I did better than vocab just speaking. Because that man is trash. Okay? He wants to be us so bad. All right? Culture vultures. But guess what? All right? Guess what? You can't dress shit. Right? You can't dress shit up. Because you're going to always smell. You're going to always smell the funk coming out of that. Right? You can't sweep dirt under the rug. There's only so much you can hide until it starts getting exposed. All right? And we've had it, right? Seeing these things. Okay? And matter of fact, I'm going to close out with that. Getting ready for camp, Lord willing, with the brothers. There's just a quick hit showing you that this man just keeps, like I said, proving us right. Okay? So let's go to the book of 2 Peter. All right. Let's go to 2 Peter chapter 2 and verse 7. And it says, matter of fact, I'm going to start at 6. Matter of fact, let's start at 4. Salakia. 2 Peter chapter 2 and verse 4. For if Yahweh spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell, right, which was slavery, okay, and all the hell that we caught, because these angels is talking about you Israelites, okay, and delivered them into chains of darkness, all right, this flesh that we're walking in right now, to be reserved unto judgment, and spared not the old world, but saved Noah, the 8th person, right, and those 8 souls represent the elect. A preacher of righteousness, bringing in the flood upon the world of the ungodly, and turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, right? And this is spiritual Sodom and Gomorrah, right? Revelations chapter 11, verse 8. It says, condemned them with an overthrow, making them an example unto those that after should live ungodly, all right? And this is why that Sodom and Gomorrah is the greatest example, and it's going to happen here 10 times worse with the thermonuclear missiles. And delivered just Lot, okay, which he also represents the elect, right? Vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked. And you best believe these people get together, right, in their little secret meetings and, their wine and cheese weekends, okay, talking about these things, man. All right, they probably sharing their dogs. That's why you always see them in their communities with a dog, okay? Dog looking at them, funny. The dog don't even want to walk with them, okay? You can't trust Esau, man. Job said he would have disdained them, right, from being with the flock of the dogs, man, okay? These people can't be trusted, all right? They do it to their own children, okay? Nothing is safe around these people, man. But around Esau, Edom, nothing is safe, okay? These people are completely wicked, all right? And I always say a wicked person is a weak person, all right? This is why they are the basemen. This is why they are the most profane. They are the most vile, all right? The most sexually immoral, okay? The most wicked and the most disgusting, all right? No matter how anybody feels about these lessons that we bring out on the so-called white man, the nation of Edom, all right? The evidence is right in front of your eyes. But as the scripture says in Romans chapter 11, verse 7, right? Israel has not obtained what they seek, which is what? The truth, all right? Only the elect and the rest were blinded. And you guys are blind to the fact that the so-called white man, all right, is the wicked, is the devil, okay? And he's going to be judged for his actions. All right, so Lord willing, this was edifying. And with that, I'm going to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakak, Wadash. I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone for teaching us this truth. And I want to say shalom to the brothers and sisters that are in this truth. Shalom. Abba, Kwam Yasharala. Shalom.